Hi, welcome back. Today I'll be sharing with you a portion of my speech during the freshman orientation here at our local law school, which is Mindanao State University College of Law. My speech covered how one's mindset should be, how one should have a bar exam plan as early as first year, and asking questions and why it's really important to have an inquisitive mind in law school. So here, why is it important to ask? I I asked I asked the students, and basically I tried to highlight what a good question should be and what a bad question could be like. So I asked them, if you were asked sa classroom, bring out that one half sheet of paper, what would students usually ask? They'd usually ask, one half, ma'am. So that's a bad question. That's a question of someone who's not listening. What's a good question then? A good question is a question that would try to inquire into the details or analyze what was being said. Either it's to clarify, yun lowest actually. That's a bad question. You just asked again, one half po ba, ma'am? So a good question would have to go deeper than that. So it could be lengthwise or crosswise, ma'am. So that was my example. But basically, what I tried to introduce to the students were the Bloom's taxonomy or hierarchy of learning and the questions that we ask in the process of learning. So we start with the remember. Remember includes defining, duplicate, list, memorize, or repeat. Or you try to state what was provided for in the book or by your teacher. The next level would be to understand. To understand includes classifying between categories, describing, you try to discuss in your own words or explain, identify, locate, recognize, and report. Apply, on the other hand, falls dun sa higher level of learning, which asks you to use information in new situations. So you try to apply it to real life situations, which is dito na level I think is most useful when studying law. So you try to execute, implement, or solve or use it in a particular situation. Then you have analyze, wherein you try to draw connection among ideas. So maybe it's one principle and another legal principle, and you try to connect the two or compare the two. That's how you analyze. And then second to the last is evaluate, wherein you try to appraise, argue, defend, judge, select, or support the idea that you are trying to learn. And then lastly is you create. You produce new original work, which also means that you're trying to construct hypothetical questions that applies the legal principle or theory that you're trying to master. So that's Bloom's taxonomy for you. So how are we going to apply this in studying law? I have here an example of how we can use Bloom's taxonomy in studying law. So first, remember the question. What does Article 15 of the new Civil Code of the Philippines provide regarding laws relating to family rights and duties? The answer is basically lifted from the Codal. Article 15 provides that laws relating to family rights and duties, or to the status, condition, and legal capacity of persons, are binding upon citizens of the Philippines even though living abroad. So that's very Codal. On the level of understanding, the question you should ask yourself is, in your own words, explain the nationality principle as applied under Article 15 of the Civil Code. I'll give you some time, you try. Okay. The nationality principle means that personal laws, such as those involving civil status, family rights, and legal capacity, follow Filipino citizens wherever they go if they live or are temporarily abroad. So that's understand. Next is apply. If you were to apply the concept nationality principle, the question we should ask is, a Filipino living in Japan marries a Japanese citizen under Japanese law. So ito application na to in a real life situation. How would the nationality principle under Article 15 affect the recognition of his marital capacity? So, Suggested answer would be the Filipinos' capacity to marry is still governed by the Philippine law, and that's under the nationality principle. Even if the marriage is celebrated abroad, if he was disqualified to marry under Philippine law, the marriage could be considered void. So, for example, 17 years old yung Filipino na nagmarry in Japan. Philippine laws follow the citizen, even though he is temporarily or permanently abroad, he is still disqualified to marry under Philippine law. So therefore, their marriage could be considered void. Okay, now on to analyze. We're asked to compare the nationality principle under Article 15 with the principle of lex loci celebrationis. How do they apply in determining the validity of marriages? So the suggested answer is Article 15 focuses on the national law of the person, which governs their legal capacity to marry, while lex loci celebrationis refers to the law of the place where the marriage was celebrated, which only governs the formal requirements. Both must be satisfied for a valid marriage. So that's how you analyze. The next one is to evaluate. What is the sample question for evaluating? The question is, do you agree with the application of the nationality principle over the doctrine of lex domicilii in the Philippines? Why or why not? So here's an open-ended answer that could vary depending on your appreciation of, again, the said topics. And lastly, a sample question for creating. Draft a hypothetical scenario involving a Filipino citizen abroad whose capacity to contract a marriage is challenged under Article 15, and then propose a legal argument either upholding or challenging the marriage's validity based on Philippine law. So those are samples of how you can use Bloom's taxonomy in appreciating and understanding your class or your lessons in law school. It's not enough that you read your codal and your textbooks or the annotations of the law. It's important that you yourself would learn how to apply these concepts and analyze, compare, contrast, and eventually create and evaluate what you have learned. This is a way of mastering the concepts, principles, general rules, and exceptions of the law. As a student, I myself practiced this, and before my class, I would rehearse or I would try to practice what questions I'll be asking. I don't just come into class with just the answers to the questions of my professors, knowing that, again, the classes are conducted in a Socratic method. I try to apply it onto myself as well, that I also brought with me good or quality questions that could not only improve my understanding and appreciation of the subject, but it also helped me contribute to the class's learning. I try to maximize what I can make out of the short span of time. It's not short, the class is 4 hours long. To maximize the 4 hours I have with my professor. So I try to pick their brain on how they appreciate the topics as well, and not just take it from the author of the book that I was reading. Because, yeah, our professors might have a different appreciation as well. So I hope that that has helped you understand or have a better appreciation of how studying should be like in law school, and that soon enough you will be asking questions in class now will create an impression that you are prepared and that you have come to not just get a good recit score but also have the fundamentals be mastered outside of class discussion. So good luck, and I hope I can make more videos like this that might help you in appreciating or studying law. So drop down comments or suggestions on what topics I should discuss or cover the next time around. That's all. Bye.